Let's learn how to optimize resource production by selecting the best owners and sponsors in the Mars settlement. Items are owned by fellow mission control operatives, and this includes different buildings and equipment, vehicles, and astronauts. So my goal is to select the best owners and sponsors to apply my collection strength to. Collection strength is the share of resources that I produce for an item type relative to the entire amount of resources that are produced for that item type. For instance, if I have 2 collection strength for small maintenance building and the total collection strength for small maintenance building across the settlement is 20, then I would produce 10% of the resources coming from small maintenance buildings. So this scales up as there's more mission operatives and more collection strength in play. So as you want to produce more resources from a certain item type, it's important to also buy more cards and build up your inventory there. So let's go through an example. I'm gonna choose inflatable sleeping pod. I have 8.5 collection strength. And so I'm gonna choose owner of a sleeping pod on the surface of Mars to basically apply my collection strength to. And there's 3 main factors I'm looking at. So the first one is the Martia fee. This is the % fee that the owner gets from each supporter that is using their sleeping pod to produce resources. The lower the fee, the better it is for me. The health is the efficiency that the item is producing resources. So in this case, the item itself is only producing 94% of what it could produce. And then the resistance is a value that represents the collection strength that is supporting the item. And resistance can go down if the item is under supported or over supported. So think of it almost like the item is either getting overused or underused, and you want to hit the sweet spot. So if I go to this item, for instance, which has a relatively high resistance, you can see the rating is excellent. That means it's very close to the optimal collection strength or the optimal support level. And it has a little bit of room to support more collection strength, so this would be a good option. But of course, the fee here is higher than other fees. If I look at, let's say, Sleeping Pod 9, it has a lower resistance, so this resistance is poor. And what that means is there's too many people that are using Sleeping Pod 9, so that collection strength value is too high, meaning that it's more susceptible to damage, hazards, and not operating efficiently. But the fee is very good. So you really have to make a strategic decision here, depending on if you want something that has a higher likelihood of staying healthy or has a lower fee. So what's great is that it looks like Inflatable Sleeping Pod 11 has a great fee and also a relatively high resistance. So I'm going to select this item. And so now what that means is my collection strength for the sleeping pod is successfully applied to that sleeping pod. And if I filter by selected items, so if I pull up the sleeping pod, you can see I'm now supporting sleeping pod 11. And I will go ahead and make the other selections by going to unselected items and making sure that I choose an owner or sponsor for each one of these cards.